Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Cryptofy Tis Hitters. My name is Kurt Conley. I'm here today with Mr. Nissen. How are you today, Rev?
Yeah, doing good, Kurt. Doing all right. Just another
End
day
of the
in the
week. End of the week. It's Friday.
literally
Woohoo!
crazy crypto world.
Yeah, it's been a good week. It's been a good week in crypto, in my opinion. We still got Bitcoin sitting at what, like 19.3, and Ethereum sitting around that $610 mark. So things are
Yeah,
looking good, in my opinion.
yeah, for sure. It's funny the way it's been acting. Yesterday, it tried to go for another push and then just got majorly rejected in like one or two 15-minute candles. It was pretty
Yeah.
insane. But yeah, interesting. Whole market space is a bit crazy, but it's interesting that we haven't pushed through that high and really gone for above 20. But yeah, it is what it is. it's
It's not acceptable, Bitcoin. Let's go.
What's going on? No, but it's good for alt as well and gives them a chance to breathe. Because the moment we saw Bitcoin start move yesterday, alts just you
Yeah.
could just see them
Yeah.
go, oh no, and it just really deflated them and slowed them down. Anything that had momentum slowed down, but then once it relaxed, it started again. So it's good to see.
And we have been talking a lot about alts in the past, in our past videos and stuff. And we're still optimistic that alts are going to get their chance. So let's see what happens. But anyway, before we go any further on any of that, we need to jump into tier sitters because this is what our community comes and watches and is here for. So as always, the disclaimer for TIS hitters, the content covered in these videos on our Discord, our Facebook, our Twitter is not to be considered investment advice. We're not financial advisors. You guys know the drill. Please make sure you understand what you're doing before you make any trades. And this is just our speculation on what is happening in the market. Let's go.
Sure.
Today, we only have one trade, but before we do that, we're going to quickly go over the weekly hits. So in episode 12, we do this every Monday and Friday. Episode 12 was on Monday. We talked about DOT and I and J. The entry for DOT was 27,400 sats. The current sat value that it is as of time of recording was 27,460 sats. So the current change from entry is only 0.22. However, the high from 27,400 was about that 6.5. So we did nail a 6.5 trade there. Still sitting okay at the moment.
Yeah, looking good.
The other one was INJ. We called that at 6,600. Current set value is 7,470. So it's 13% up from the original entry that we were looking at based on all the data that we have. And the high it went to, it was actually 24%.
24%. Yeah. So
Yeah,
just a
so
little error there.
yeah, typo on my behalf. So apologies for that.
Yeah. So
So
it did
yeah,
do
I mean,
24%.
pardon, sorry.
It was a nice 24% move in the
Yeah,
breakout
it
that we
was.
mentioned as well. So it was really nice to see, actually.
Yeah, so some decent trades there that we were looking at for the week. So today, all we're going to be talking about is one particular trade. Not too many trades come in on the short terms. I think we had like 8, maybe 9 trades coming on in the last 24 hours. Does that sound about right, Rev?
Yeah, something like that. We had a few mediums though, which was cool to see. But yeah,
Yeah.
on the short terms, there wasn't much.
It's actually really good to see the mediums because, like, if you remember, like a week or two ago, we had a lot of long-term trades come in, and now more medium-term trades come in. So let's just keep an eye on what's going on with TIS. Anyway, let's just jump into this one. So as of the 4th of 12th, 2020, the first token is ORN. The CMC ranking for ORN is 190. Current dollar value is $3.26. Sat value is around 16,880 sats. We are looking for a breakout about 20,000 sats with this particular one. However, if we do get a pullback, we're looking for that 13,000 sat range for a good entry.
For sure.
Trading volume at the moment is about 82 Bitcoin. Only one buy on the short-term notifications, but we're giving this around a 7 out of 10. And Rev will just pull up the charts and the reason why. It could flip to an 8 rating, but we don't really do that. Like it's sort of like this touch and go at the moment. If we get that 13,000 sat range, interesting, pretty good place for an entry. If we break out of 20,000, well, you probably get some fireworks.
Yeah, it was around 14,000. So I'll bring that up in a second and I'll go through that. So I'll bring up ORN. Sorry, I was just looking at a few other things on CryptoStat and the data. That CryptoStat data is, once you know what's going on, it's just incredibly powerful. It's just having a look at a few. One that was there, it was like 2,000% plus in volume in the last 24 hours up. It's like, whoa, that's a lot. But this is ORN here. And what we're really looking for is, yeah, it's about that 1,300, 1,400 sat range. It's about there. 13,000, sorry, not 1,300, 13,000. as Kurt mentioned just before, you can see it right there on an hourly straight away. But if we go back a little bit more on a bigger time frame, you'll see it much clearer than what we had there. So there's that 14,000 there to that 13,000. So in between these two sort of boxes here is a potential pullback to it and then a bounce off it. That could be a very good play there. Or we're looking for a breakout out of this high here that it just missed that 20,000 sat range. And I think TIS actually caught a trade within here before it took off, which was really cool. I'm not too sure, but I think this was the one we were looking at. Once again, this thing has like, I think 100 mil circulating supply, which is really nice to see. And currently, I think it's like 13 or 15 mil currently in play. The MACD here is above, which is really good to see. You might have a little bounce above the zero line as well. And you can see how powerful the MACD was on this when it crossed and it stuck that zero line. So this is where it crossed here, bullish, then it hit the zero line, and you can see that like major kick out of it straight away. Sat above the 100 or the 99 day here, yellow line, and it hasn't sort of fallen back down, and now it's riding that 25 day MA, which is really cool to see. If it bounces off that 25 MA, watch out for a breakout here, just above 20,000. If there is that breakout, yeah, it could be very interesting. And I know that they're having a mainnet as well, Kurt, is that right, in about 10 days?
Yeah, so it's really interesting actually. So Orange Terminal, there has been some people talking about it in the community earlier on, and they're looking to like aggregate all the liquidity from every centralized exchange, decentralized exchange, and the swap pool into one decentralized platform. And their mainnet goes live on December 15th. So interesting times coming ahead. Look at the chart, look at the data that's coming through, look at what's happening and what's coming up. Make an executive decision on what you want to do with this one.
For sure. And here's a perfect example on a daily, Kurt. I know we mentioned about the MACD crossing, but the MACD crossing and MACD crossing the zero line is a big play. Like there's two different scenarios. There's MACD cross into a bullish or bearish, but then there's it crossing the zero line, which is literally one of the biggest plays you can have a look at because it's the moving average convergence divergence. It's so powerful yet so simple. And this is why when I see charts of like a whole lot of things, it's like, man, what is this guy looking at? How can you even keep up? Sometimes keeping it simple is, most of the time I should say, 70-80% of the time, keeping it simple is the best way to be. You can see where I have that cursor right now is where it opened and it hit the zero line on that bullish MACD right there. So that's where it opened right there. If I pull this down a bit, you can see it. It hit the zero line. This candle opened at 1239. And the literal next day candle, once it confirmed, opened at 1390 and it pushed all the way to 19,000. There's a nice, 40% just in one candle, just by playing that zero line on the MACD and keeping an eye on it. And that's why when we talk about the MACD scanner within Cryptostat, it's so powerful to keep your eyes on it. By the way, we got confirmation that BRD moved to secret, SCRT, which we're updating throughout.
And do you want to just clarify that? They merged, right?
Merged, or I think they changed names, just like AntShares went to Neos back in the day and a whole lot of others. And we can see that as well, like the prices, I think, pretty much just not doing anything. But if we bring up secret, BTC, sorry, I know we went from one token to another, but there you go. And there's, once again, this thing telling us that, yep, it's crossed and it started moving. But it is a little bit confusing, but we'll kind of clarify it later and we'll have an update within our system. I'm pretty sure it was BRD to SCRT. But going back to ORN, there's really nothing much else on it. Let's have a look at the data really quickly. I'll bring up my custom setup. You can see the buyer's change is dropping off. And that's why we're saying look for a breakout at 20,000 or a pickup around the 13 and 14,000 sat range, because that's the kind of play that we're looking at. That's what we're seeing it trying to do, especially from a 4-hour perspective if we look a little bit further out. So that right there. So we want to be in here. We want to see a pickup in here or a breakout out of here. So just keep your eyes peeled on that. And if it does start to push the 20,000, it's probably a 7 out of 10 trade. And if it does go to 13, 14,000, it's probably 8 out of 10 and deserves a Barats. I like, very nice right there in it. So I like. But yeah, it's all good from there. And that was the only token that we had for these TIS hitters.
It is. It is.
Um,
The thing is with RN as well, it's got quite a big community. It's, 30,000 people following it on Twitter as well. So you're probably going to see a lot more people talking about it at the moment as mainnet ramps up. Like it's one of those things. Social media gets hold of particular events with certain tokens. So you will probably see a little bit more chatter about it as well. But just one of those things to remember. So the recap is, if it breaks out of 20,000, we could see some interesting work. Or looking for around that 13,000, 14,000 pullback. But Rev, while I got you here, and we've got some more time left on this video, I still see a lot of people asking questions with CryptoStat. How does the buyers work at the back end? So if we look here, like on the MACD, I just seen when you pulled it up before that the buyers are increasing, right? We're seeing more 90%ers, 80%ers, 70%ers. They're more and more. Do you want to just recap quickly on that?
Yeah, for sure. There's two types of things. So if you're talking about just the buyers in here, that's the buying percentage based on the order books. And we have an API as well. So we pull the data from an API. We see a lot more of the order book than what you would look at from a dev perspective if you were on their actual website. And what that does is it tries to identify which orders are coming through and then disappearing, coming through and disappearing. So fake orders, and it pretty much disregards those fake orders and then makes a calculation based on buyer's power and selling power, which is a pressure sort of thing. How much pressure, how much buy pressure do we have? How much selling pressure do we have? And that's why you'd see these numbers jump up drastically or fall real drastically. It's because it's trying to calculate where we realistically are in the best possible way, rather than just having what's the market book depth look like? We're 52% bullish, 48. It's very little discrepancy. Whereas we have calculated in a very different way, and it's pretty powerful. We've caught a lot of trades just off looking at buying power percentage change. And what you can do is you can actually, have a look and list it in a table and see, okay, which one changed the most in the last 24 hours? Oh, we got Chromium here, 86.8% in change, and buying power is at 7.5. It's not a big buying power, but that's a big change in buying power in 24 hours. So that means that there is obviously more people buying it right here. And you can see the volume change of 58.4% as well. Also corresponds with that. But then you have like something like HC, which is Hypercash, I believe. You have a negative 66% in volume and an increase in buying power at 61.3. So that's just the order book's dynamics working. And there might be something that's just sitting there that's fake as a buy order. Or it might come out later, and that will change drastically once again. So this is quite different to someone when we're looking at the Binance MACD scanner and when we're looking at the rating.
Just while you're pulling that up as well, I have seen some people in the community ask, okay, if we offer a buyer's percentage, why don't we offer a seller's percentage?
Well, pretty straightforward. If buyers is at 58%, sellers is at 42%. Straight out. So we don't really, we had
it's just another column. It's more data. It's more information that we need to put in front of people's eyes. It's not necessary.
And we're not collecting that data from anywhere besides just going, all right, 58%. What's left?
Yeah,
this is the rest. So there's not really any more than that to it. There's really no need for it, to be quite honest.
Cool.
So if someone's sitting at
a few people's questions,
if there's someone sitting at like 5-10% buying power, that means there is 90-95% selling pressure. But don't forget, once again, a lot of these orders sit there for a very long time, and then when the price moves and starts going to that target, they remove it. So those calculations aren't that accurate when there's nothing really happening on that token. The moment momentum kicks in and volume comes, that's when that buying percentage power is so accurate. It's not even funny, because it's literally taking so much data, calculating everything in the way we've produced it, and then throws out that number for you.
Yep.
So nothing new as well on the percentage on a rating from a MACD scanner side of things. And how this works is, if you see, the monthly holds a lot more weight, weekly holds less weight, daily holds once again less, 12-hourly less and less and less until the 1 minute. Now, if they're all bullish, this will be at 100%. Yeah. And you can see it's at 99.79. So 1 hour, 30 minutes and 1 minute are only holding a 0.21% rating on it. And we've seen every single one of these that has hit the 99% take off.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. There's this real good correlation when the weekly starts going green and the monthly starts going green, and if the daily's green, you will see the buyer's percentage up, and then you will see some good movement on that particular token. So it's worth watching these as they're closing down, as in when I mean they're closing down, as when they're confirming green.
Yeah, and a good way to do this is just have a flick through this, so you can see the weekly here. If they're red on the monthly and the weekly's just turned green with a dot, that means they haven't confirmed. They need another whole week to confirm that they're in that bullish stance. And which new ones are there flickering right now? and that one is ONG at the moment. So
Mhm.
keep your eyes out on that, and then see what it does. But the monthly is currently in a bearish, and you can bring up that chart here with the MACD, and we'll give it to you as well. And you can change the time frame. So if you go to the monthly, let's have a look at how far it is. It might not even be calculated yet. Can't even calculate a moving average. So if that confirms it's pretty much for ONG, it is at 99 point something or 95% because it doesn't have a monthly. It hasn't had enough candles in the monthly time frame to give you a moving average convergence divergence setup based off the standard 12, 26, and 9 candle closes. So um, yeah, for ONG, that's pretty much where we're at with it. So if this weekly does close for ONG, watch out for price movement. And let's have a look at it really quickly while we're here and see, is it doing anything? I mean, you can see there it started to move. That's probably, what are we talking? Third, it's probably the 27th. So people probably anticipated, and just before it actually did it, they've gone for it. And we'll bring up the weekly really quickly. I'll show you what I mean. Yeah, it's people just anticipating it, or saying, okay, we want it to go up there, and price pushed up, or it may be due to news or anything really. I think we covered ONG not long ago, didn't we, Kurt?
Yeah, we talk about it in one of them.
Yeah, yeah. So it's pretty straightforward from that perspective. But yeah, this is a pretty powerful tool. Just keep a note of what's on there right now, and then so when new ones do come on the 90% rating, you're pretty much on top of
Yeah.
your game, and you know what you're looking for.
So they go over to your watch list. Okay, cool. Well, we thought we'd just like give you guys a bit of a insight into what's going on with Cryptostat and just another quick tutorial on how to use Cryptostat because it is super powerful if you're using that combined with TIS. At the end of the day, all of our TIS data is pulled and combined with Cryptostat. So this is this powerhouse that comes together. So
For sure.
that is basically it for today's episode, episode 13 of TIS Hitters. It is the end of the week for us. However, we're always online with the community. You guys are always online in Discord with us and in Facebook. We have dropped a couple of secret tokens this week, Unify and XVS. So keep an eye out on what those guys are doing on. And yeah, as always, if you're not subscribed, please hit the bell below. Please subscribe. Drop a comment. We like to see everyone's comments. We'll try and respond to your comments. And as always, we do this Monday and Friday every week, the best we can, unless there's any hiccups. My name's Kurt. I'm out for the week. I'll see you guys in the inside.
Cheers, Kurt. Take care, guys. Peace out. Bye.
Bye.